We'll see.
You didn't do great?
I didn't do great.
I did great.
These who are meeting here on this night, God, I pray that you would lead and direct their steps, not just on this night, God, but every night that they meet together to make these important decisions. Lord, I pray that you would bless them and keep them and make your face to shine upon them, and we give you praise and honor for everything. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I'll ask Councilman James Brandon to lead us in pledge.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if there's not any changes to the previous minutes, do I have a motion to approve those?
Make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Brandon, have a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Shields. Discussion, roll call.
Inline.
Yes.
Hines.
Aye.
Wondler.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Brandon.
Aye.
Simpson.
Aye.
Just one correction on item number 1, we need to add the language in consideration of resolution passage. The resolution you have before you that we didn't hear back from MTAS until late Friday, till after the package was already gone out, so I would add that you add that to the number 1,
Yeah.
to adopt the resolution or consideration and adoption of the resolution. You got that, Mr. Wilbur?
What is it you want to do against?
You all have a resolution in front of you.
Yes, so we need to add the
Yeah.
language to the bottom of the number 1 in consideration of adoption of the resolution.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Simpson, second by Mr. Henline. Discussion, roll call.
Inline.
Aye.
Hines. Wondler.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Brandon.
Aye.
Simpson.
Aye.
I want to remind everyone about the Battle of the Bridge, Kentu Drive, that Levon and the other ladies that worked so hard here is to come in the front door to donate, to bring some food. We'll be taking food until Thursday at lunchtime, right, Levon? And that or your money, either one. to take your money to. And, for the city attorney, that'll be, since you're gonna be Lenoir City's, new judge, that'll be, you'll need to give your money to the Panthers for a change.
Right.
Already have,
All right,
already have.
all right. Okay, any reports, member of city council? At this time, does anyone here like to comment on an item or item that's on tonight's agenda? Okay, item number one is consideration of city council regarding the, approving the recommendation from the committee established to review and evaluate the salary of the city judge and, the passage of the resolution as well, consideration of the passage of the resolution as well. Let me start before I ask Chairman, in mind, and I won't ask the committee is here as well, Ms. Powell, Tammy Powell, Chris Walford, and Captain David Flynn. And I'm also going to ask the police chief to comment as well. But I want to bring your attention to the letter that was written back in April that Ms. Kelso had written to the three candidates. And one of the sentence that was in the letter where it says, "We are aware of the decrease in performance of Lenoir City Court resulting from our law enforcement officers feeling the necessity to take their cases to Loudoun County General Sessions." You know, I asked some of the, I would ask for the naysayers out there, and, you know, what is city council, what are we supposed to do when we have a situation where you have a person that is not performing in their job that they're supposed to be performing? Obviously, if it's a regular employee, we have to take action and we have to do something to that employee. If they're not performing to the city standards. City council and I took action, or the potential to take action. We had a short time frame. We need to go hear back from MTAS, and MTAS says, yes, you have to do something by September 1. So I asked, what is city council and my office supposed to do about that? When you have an employee that's not performing, what are we supposed to do? And that's what I asked the committee, and he explained to the committee, what are we supposed to do? And we have to do something to protect the integrity of the court system and the office. And so, obviously, with the person that's in there now, we knew what we had. We knew it wasn't working. They had 5.5 years to do something, and chose to go the other route, chose to work 1 day a week for $75,000 a year. That's just not right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care who you are. That's just not right. If I came in my office 1 day a week, being a full-time mayor of Lenoir City, I would expect the city council to chastise me and give me a warning and say, Mayor, something needs to be done. But in this particular case, where the law says you can't diminish or increase a judge's salary while you're in the middle of the term, we had to take action. We had to get those. We didn't want them to be blindsided if they got elected. We wanted them to know. Mr. Harrison was the candidate. Yes, there's no secret that I supported Mr. Harrison. And I think probably the rest of the council as well. And so he came before us. He said what he was going to do. I believe what he's going to do. He's going to open up the court system. He's going to bring integrity back to the courts. And he's going to relieve the county of their burden. And he intends to hold court 3 days a week. He's already got, already told us that. And I believe what he's saying. And he's a man of integrity, and I have no doubt that he will not do what he tells us he will do. So, I'm going to ask the chairman first for his comments, and then, I'll ask Ms. Powell, Mr. Swalker, and Captain Flynn for theirs, and then I'll ask the chief of police to make a statement. Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mayor,
Can you turn on your mic here, too?
what you just said there is very true. And, we had to make some kind of a decision, and, if Ms. Smith had been elected, we could possibly be making the same decision. We didn't know at that time. But anyway, the committee met and researched it, and, we feel that it's a proper thing to do to restore the, salary back to the previous, salary of $175,000. And, we feel like we're getting a bargain at that.
I'd asked Ms. Kelso, and she made, I hope you have those, I know I've got Loudoun County. Loudoun County General Sessions Court judges, they make $184,000 plus benefits. 184, and they work 5 days a week.
That's correct.
And, we just got that information just recently. So, I know,
You have Knoxville, it's 85,000, also.
and they only do traffic.
And they only do traffic, that is correct. And the rest of them are very minimal. You know, you have some that do 1 day a week, some that do twice a month. And those are around, $15,000 to $18,000 a year for those types of judges that sit. So it's clear that, the more minimal, time spent as the judge sits, the lesser the salary, the higher the salary, obviously.
Ms. Swofford, can I impose on you and,
Mr. Swofford.
I'm sorry, Mr. Swofford, or Ms. Powell too, I was gonna take ladies first, sorry. Ms. Powell, could you come up and speak to the audience and the council? Thank you, sorry,
Ladies first.
ladies first.
Ladies
So thank you for having me on the committee. It was pretty cut and dry to me, the amount of time that he's planning on being here and the complexity of the cases that he's going to hear, which is, different from the last judge. So it was pretty cut and dry to me why to raise his pay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Swofford.
Thanks for having me, and based on personal experience with the previous judge and meeting the current candidate that won, I can see where we've gone wrong and I've researched salaries. What you're recommending is right in line with what should be earned, I think, for our community.
Thanks, sir, appreciate it. Captain Glenn?
Mayor, City Council, I appreciate the opportunity to be on the committee. Of course, I'm well aware of the issues that we had, so being in the police department for so many years. So I believe that the added responsibilities that Mr. Harrison's going to take on, I believe that the $75,000 is well worth it, especially when you have a sessions judge that makes that much too. He's basically going to be a sessions judge. He's gonna be taking a lot of responsibility as far as in the county, so.
And Captain Glenn, I know you have a lot of law enforcement experience. What's it mean to, when officers, obviously the Justice Center, we all know where it's located at, but, as far as, them having to just walk downstairs or if they're already working and how convenient it is, can you speak on that?
Yeah, we have officers that work night shift, they'll go to the sessions court and, down at the Justice Center, they'll sit there all day long, after they work the night shift, so they may not get in bed for hours. And then we have other officers that go down there and stay several hours, and then they dismiss their case, or they bound it over, come to some kind of agreement after they sit there most of the day. So having the sessions judge here would be a whole lot easier, because that way he can call the officers off the road. There won't be as backlog with the cases that there is, and he'll be able to sign some subpoenas for us also that we have to currently go on a sessions judge at the Justice Center for us.
And obviously, they're on the clock when they're sitting there, they're getting paid for it, but still it's an inconvenience to them, because if they are working midnight shift, or if they're sitting there all day, they have to come back in, and, that night, it's tough on them.
It is, it's very tough. I worked night shift for several years. I've experienced that firsthand. So it's gonna be a whole lot better with us having general sessions jurisdiction here and hearing cases here. Plus, we're gonna have 3 days a week that we'll have cases. So, I just think that it's well worth the raising the salary back up. Because he's gonna have a whole lot more responsibility than just a municipal judge does, so.
All right.
You definitely have a unique insight into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, of course, everybody knows, David, and he's been around a long time, of course, he's worked here for a long time, but he's also worked for bigger departments as well. And, of course, certainly appreciate his expertise, and that's the reason I asked that he would, I knew he would bring some stuff to the table and some insight on how it works. Thank you, sir. Thank all of you, Mr. Swafford and Ms. Powell, thank you both for serving as well. Chief? Can you speak on, and if you will speak up just a little bit there at the microphone, I think it's on, but I want to be sure that, you two, are in channel 193 or 3, I still call it channel 3, I want to be sure it's all recorded and if you will, and speak on the issues as far as performance that we've had and the problems we've had in the past.
Well, I'd like to just, of course, I agree with everything that everyone has said so far, but I really want to kind of go back and talk a little bit about history. So many years ago, you were involved as well as several other members of City Hall and City Council. When we met with Judge Van, probably back in 2012 or 13, because we had talked about this in 2008 when we were going to do a new municipal building on Broadway. Well, when the recession occurred, that stopped, and we couldn't really do all that we needed to do in City Court because of the facility on the Broadway old City Hall. So we dreamed of a day that we would actually be able to build a courtroom that would be adequate for general session level cases such as DUIs and more serious offenses, not just traffic court. And we're very unique in Lenoir City because we do have general sessions jurisdiction and one of very few cities around the state of Tennessee. So as we talk with Judge Van and prepare our plan for doing multiple days per week, doing a night court that would be more convenient for our citizens that had to work during the day that didn't want to come in and contest a speeding ticket or some other moving violation, and we'd never been able to do that. Well, when we built this building, if you recall, we spent a lot of extra money extending this room just for this court program. And we've got holding cells, and we've got an attorney-client office that's in this particular room. So we did all that thinking we were gonna go down that path. Well, unfortunately, Judge Van didn't get to see that day because he passed away. And so we had to have a new election. Well, after that election, we weren't really sure where we were headed, and then we never did that. We stayed at matter of fact, we progressed. We had a very short court docket, 1 day a week, several hours. So we weren't able to bring any of those cases. They had to continue to go to general sessions at the Justice Center. And so, now that we went through another election, you heard from Mr. Harrison, Judge Harrison, at the last city council meeting, and he met with us to discuss what his plan is, and it's to go back to a multi-day courtroom where we can get our police officers out of the Justice Center, which that court's already burdened enough because they're taking everything. If you've ever driven by the Justice Center on a Wednesday morning or afternoon, the cars are parked out on Highway 11. So that's gonna lessen their docket, and it will help our police officers as well as just our overall court and our citizens, because we'll be able to give them multiple options on what they want to do. So I feel like that this is, and obviously if we're gonna expect a judge to work 3 days a week plus come in at night and work, we've got to pay that bill. So taking the salary back to that level, I think it has to happen.
Thank you, Chief, appreciate it. Does any member of the city council have anything they want to add? All right, and not, I'll entertain a motion to approve item number 1 with the added language of the resolution.
I'd like to make that motion.
All right.
Second.
Motion by the vice mayor, second by Mr. Henline, discussion. Roll call.
Inline.
Yes.
Hines. Waller.
Aye.
Shields. Brandon. Simpson.
Aye.
All right, item number 2 is consideration of city council order regarding the appointment of the city attorney to fill the upcoming vacancy. I know Chairman Shields was here, and personnel meeting met, and Chairman Shields,
Yes, Mayor.
you can speak up there just a little bit, Jim, Mike. Come on.
All right. Yes, Mayor, the committee met earlier this afternoon, searching for a replacement for our city attorney. It's going to be vacant in a few days. So we had an applicant apply, and he comes with a colorful resume. Served in public defender's office for quite a while, many years, with the firm of Ritchie and Johnson for several years. Ritchie, Mives, Reeves, Johnson and Johnson practice. Had several awards. Graduated from the University of Tennessee, Doctor of Jurisprudence, June 1984 with high honors. Class, he's number 4 in his class of 190 that graduated that class in 1984. We received several awards, American Jurisprudence Book Award from the university. Order of the, I don't know how to pronounce this word, University of Tennessee College of Law. Member of the Phi Beta Kappa, University of Tennessee, and the Phi Kappa Phi, University of Tennessee. Member of Honor Societies, Gamma Beta Phi, in military service from our services. Retired Master Sergeant, Tennessee Air National Guard, Corps Superintendent of the 572nd Air Force Band, Air National Guard Band of Smoky Mountains, Tennessee. And awards of decoration, the Air Force Commendation Medal in 1974 and 1978. Air Force Commendation Medal, first Oak Leaf Cluster in 1979 and September of 1979. Got the Outstanding Achievement Award of the Air Force Achievement Medal, the Mentor Service Medal 2002, 2005, and also in 2005 to 2012. Comes highly recommended by the committee, and we suggest that we hire Mr. Johnson for our city attorney there.
All right, Chairman Shields makes a motion, we hire Mr. Walter Johnson as our next city attorney. Of course, he spent 39 years in the military, and certainly appreciate your service, Mr. Johnson. Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Henline, discussion. Roll call, Mr. Wood.
Inline.
Yes.
Hines. Waller.
Aye.
Shields.
Aye.
Brandon. Simpson.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Johnson, I'm gonna give you the floor if you want to say anything.
You know, it's always a bad thing to ask a lawyer to talk. So, as to quote the famous Rupture Dell, I'll be brief. Listen, nobody's sicker about that election 6 years ago than me. 16 votes, and I was sick about it for quite a long time. And I'm really excited about being the new city attorney. You know, I told people in 2016 that I was retired and I would devote full time to that job as the city judge. I make the same pledge. I will devote full time and all my energy to this. I'm semi-retired, but I promise you I'll be available and ready to do this job, and I am very excited about it. Thank you very much for hiring me.
Thank you, Walter, and certainly we're excited to have you, and I know that you're doing the city a great job. We're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 3 is consideration of city council regarding adoption of ordinance amending title 15, chapter 6 of the Oklahoma City Municipal Code by adding section 15-614, executive meadows parking restrictions, and adopting executive meadows parking map. Chief White is here to speak in Beth Collins' absence. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. So we've had an issue with parking. The HOA and Executive Meadows, they actually have it in their ordinance for no on-street parking. We put signage up through the years, and we actually had thought that we had passed an ordinance years ago, which Amber and I did the research and did not find that. And it's just a continual problem because of the narrow streets out there and the fact that if we get multiple vehicles, which actually occurred on Nicholas Way some years ago. Matter of fact, it just occurred again today. So it's an ongoing problem where if we have any type of emergency, fire, EMS, or law enforcement, it is very, very difficult to get a fire truck through those streets if there's people parked, especially if it's a larger vehicle, SUV or pickup. So we just felt like it was the best way for us as a police department to remedy the problem, to have an ordinance for no parking and designate the streets. And that way when we can establish signage with the ordinance on the signage. And so Beth has been working on this, and I told her I'd be glad to present that it would be our recommendation from the codes office as well as the police department to pass this on first reading.
And I think you talked to the HOA, correct?
Absolutely, they're all on board. That community has changed through the years. There's rental units there as well, so there's turnover with tenants, and so a lot of times they don't get the information, so they move in and move out, and the cars start parking, and it's been difficult for the HOA board members to try to convey that message, and of course they contact us, and if we have an ordinance on the books, then it'll just make it easier for us to cite. Instead of a no parking citation, it would be the ordinance for the street, so it's a cleaner deal.
Okay. Any questions? Any members of the city council have any questions? Go ahead, Mr.
Mayor, I would love to make that motion to get that done, because we do, and I was the developer of that property and felt like it was handled well with parking spaces, but we've continually had problems, so I would like to make a motion to approve adopting this first reading.
Mr. Simpson makes a motion to adopt it on first reading. Have a second.
A second, Mayor.
Second, Mr. Shields. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Inline. Hines. Wonders.
Aye.
Shields. Brandon. Simpson.
Aye.
Thank you.
I just want to note that the parking map is included as a part of the ordinance.
Okay. Thank you. Item 4 is consideration of city council approving the opening of the bank account for the Ninth Drug Task Force funds.
I just wanted to welcome Mr. Johnson, because I know our judicial commissioners are excited to be working with him. They thought he was a great choice. But we're needing to open up a bank account. After speaking with our auditor, Terry Notes, he said there's going to be more funds coming in with everything happening. We should just go ahead and move it. So it'll be off by itself, and we won't have to worry about commingling any funds. So that's what the drug task force is, what I was wanting to do, is open a bank account for that.
That's a good idea, to do that, to keep it segregated.
And Chief, there's been some discussion. I probably need to talk to you and Walter about some things that's dealing with sort of involving this and some things that Attorney General talked with me about, you're probably familiar about, so I'll probably talk to you, say something to you so both of you don't run off until I walk out of mine before I forget it again. All right, any questions about opening up the bank?
And that's another reason.
Yeah, that's another reason. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Motion, Mr. Brandon, have a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Simpson. Discussion, roll call.
Inline.
Yes.
Hines.
Aye.
Wonders.
Aye.
Shields. Brandon. Simpson.
Aye.
Madam City Administrator, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that, it's kind of a bittersweet, meeting for me tonight. I'm sad to see, Greg Harrison, my left-hand man over here. Sorry. No, Mr. Shaver. Okay, to go. I mean, he's been, yes, exactly. He's been a great city attorney for us, these past years, and I've really enjoyed, getting to know your expertise and your availability. But I'm also looking forward, to seeing you be judge, and also looking forward to working with, Mr. Walter Johnson. And I think that we're gonna have a great team for the citizens of Lenoir City, and I think that, they'll serve well. So, thank you. That's all I have.
Well, I said this last meeting, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the city council for allowing me to work with you all for the last 6.5 years. It's been my pleasure. I know I've received more from you all than you've ever received from me. And I'm excited for Mr. Johnson too, because, I think actually it's gonna be a big improvement for me in the city attorney department. He's a lot smarter than me, and he's local. He's going to be more available than I was, and that's no joke. And I think that could only enhance our representation. I'm excited to death that he has been appointed by you guys as city attorney, and I look forward to working with him and continue to work with you all whenever I can. I appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Well, there's no doubt that it's a job performance overall, both capacities will be a big improvement
Right.
to the city. And,
Amen.
certainly appreciate everything you've always done for the city, and you've always been very successful. Thank you. All right, is that it? Since times anyone here like to discuss something that was not on tonight's agenda? George Bowie.
Good evening, Mayor Akins, and council, and judge. Congratulations. I hate to be a complainer. I hate to stir up any problems, but frankly, I've been coughing the whole night because the county commissioner has been smoking in this room disrespectfully. Sitting there and smoking the entire meeting. And it's caused my lungs, you can tell this is not my normal voice, I've been coughing the entire time. Actually, I've seen our new judge coughing too. Probably didn't notice the effects of the smoke that county commissioner's been doing in this building at this meeting. Now, I don't like to stir up any trouble, but frankly, that's disrespectful. It's not just disrespectful to the city council, but it's disrespectful to my health. And I don't appreciate it. So if we could do anything with the attorneys and the chief of polices and the mayors and all the folks that we have with great titles in this room about that man right there smoking in this room, please.
Please refrain from your vaping, Mr. Shaver.
I don't smoke and vape.
Okay.
I think he's having a vision issue or something.
Mayor, I have pictures of it. If you all want to see it, I'll be glad to email them to you or text them to you, sitting right there watching that man smoke.
Thank you, appreciate it. All right, anyone else?
I would like to say something here.
Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
As a court clerk, I think we're gonna have a breath of fresh air. We're gonna get a lot of work done. It's gonna be really good to work with these two, the judge and the new attorney. And I look forward to their time here, and look forward to the first court.
All right. Anyone else? All right, I have a motion to pay the bills.
I'd like to make that motion, approving all bills and accounts to be paid when properly approved and the funds are available.
Vice Mayor makes a motion to pay the bills. Have a second? Second, Mr. Brandon or Mr. Shields?
Got it.
Roll call.
Caroline,
Yes.
Hines, Waller,
Aye.
Shields, Brandon, Simpson.
Aye.
Any other business? That motion adjourned.
Make a motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Motion, Mr. Henline, have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Shields. Roll call, Gordon.
Caroline,
Yes.
Hines, Waller,
Aye.
Shields, Brandon, Simpson.
Aye.
We're adjourned, thank you all.
Thank you.